ya tatu hapa ya The Breakfast Club Swahili Pot FM. Mahala popote pale ulipo bwana, unazungumza nasi kwa njia ambazo kwamba ziko wazi kwa ajili ya kwako wewe kupitia 0700917917 dondoshia ujumbe wa maandishi pale kwa WhatsApp, lakini pia vile vile voice note itakuwa inafanya kazi pale. Itakuwa inapendeza zaidi ukiweza kuzungumza nasi. Mimi hapa ni Barisa.
Nami hapa ni Emmanuel Gona. Naona upande wa Facebook pale kuna Saido Mbura pale ameingia, kuna Eric Kalama, kuna Eric Ahenda, kuna David De Gea. David De Gea, unakumbuka hilo jina. Lakini pia kuna Daudi Daniel amesema niko ndani nikiwa Tanzuni Base. Journalist WKR amesema Bamba Mariango Kambe Mwakwaya Lanzovuni Paziani Chapungu Kabelengani Mitangani Mnagoni Midoina tupo ndani ya 91.7 na 91.5 Swahili Pot FM. Kaluda Coastal Kid pale amesema good morning, naye Nasbizo anasema anasikiliza kwa uzuri tu.
Okay. Safi sana. Leo manake ni siku ya Jumanne. Kuna Tech Tuesday, lakini pia huwa tunazungumza mengi tu kuhusiana na masuala ambayo kwamba yanafungamana na sheria. Yani law pale inasemaje. Na leo tunakwenda kuzungumzia ugavi wa mapato baina ya serikali kuu ya kitaifa na serikali za county. Ambayo serikali kuu ndio mama na serikali hizi nyingine 47 ndio serikali za county ndo watoto, na mtoto siku zote ananyonya kutoka kwa mama aliyemzaa. So kwenye studio tuko naye wakili Adika, lakini atajitambulisha vizuri anashughulika na nini, alafu ndio tuweze kuzama mazima. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Vile umesema, kwa majina naitwa Zedekiah Adika. Yeah. Mimi ni wakili hapa Mombasa, na mimi pia ni mwenyekiti wa Coast Civil Society Network, ama zile zinaitwa Civil Society Organization, zikikaa pamoja kwa ukanda wa Pwani na kuwa kama mwenyekiti wao. So leo vile umesema ni tutaangalia vile rasilimali ambazo zimekusanywa at national level zinagawanywa to counties. So hiyo ndio mada ambayo tunafaa tuongelelee, na pole nimeanza kwa kuongea tu maneno zetu, lakini to the radio fraternity nadhani nimepoteza mmoja wenu.
Yeah, true.
Ambaye alikuwa ni sauti kubwa sana. Ameguide watu wengi katika radio, Edward Kwach.
Yeah.
So poleni sana kwa hiyo.
Tumeshapoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so kuna sheria ambayo inaitwa the Division of Revenue Bill.
Yes.
Ambayo kila mwaka inatakikana 2 months before the end of the financial year ikuwe tabled kwa parliament na ikuwe sheria kabisa before 2 months before the end of the financial year. Nadhani tuko hapo na Senate imefanya vizuri, imetoa hiyo sheria. Kuna public participation ambayo inaendelea. Na leo ni siku ya mwisho ya kushare information kuhusiana na hiyo sheria. So nimekuja ili tuongee watu wajue ni nini inaendelea. Is there justice for counties ama is there injustice for counties? National government inarelate aje na counties kwa hii maneno ya devolution? Kwa sababu the all essence ya devolution ilikuwa ni let's share resources. For quite too long, mpaka 2013 I think, wakati sasa counties zilianza kufanya kazi, decisions za budget zilikuwa zinasikizwa sana sana na executive, and it was the entire resources ambayo tuna collect kama Kenya. Ni few people had the say on it. In fact, ilikuwa inakuja siku ya mwisho ndio mnaona finance minister anakuja na briefcase, anaonyesha ndio hii pesa ndio tumia hivi na vile.
Yes.
Lakini hii katiba iligawanya, iliamua kwamba counties lazima zipate resources equitably from the national government. Na so walitengeneza sheria wakisema kwamba kwa ile resource ambayo tutagawanya at national level, a minimum of 15% iende kwa counties
Yes.
Hiyo ndio sasa hii sheria ambayo inaitwa Division of Revenue Bill huwa inatengeza. So for this year the National Treasury na National Assembly, kwa sababu hii sheria ikianza kutengezwa inaanza kutengezwa kwa National Treasury.
Yes.
Alafu inaenda kwa National Assembly. Ndio inapelekwa Senate. So wamepropose kwamba counties zitapata 405 billion point 1. 405.1. Yes. Na katika kupropose hiyo figure wametumia the audited budget ya 2020-2021.
Okay.
Yeah, so according to them sheria inataka kwamba wakicalculate hiyo amount ya 15% wanaangalia the last audited and approved budget. So the last audited and approved budget ni hiyo ya 2020-2021 financial year. Okay. Lakini the Auditor General
ndio
ashafanya hiyo kazi hadi 2023-2024. So approval ambayo inafaa ifanywe na National Assembly ndio ijafanyika kwa hizi ya 2021, ya 2022 na 2023. So ndio maana tunatumia ile document ya 2020-2021. The effect ya hiyo ni kwamba pesa ambayo tutagawanya, ambayo sasa tunaangalia pesa ambayo sasa itaenda kwa county, ni according to hiyo pesa ya 2020-2021 yenye ordinary revenue ambayo wanaangalia ilikuwa around 1.5 trillion.
Okay. Kwa
hii financial year hii ambayo wajua sahi budget ambayo tutatengeza ni budget ya next financial year. Kuitengeza mwisho itakuwa end of June. Yeah. Tukiingia July sasa ndio tunaanza kuitumia.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo yale ambao tutaongea yale ambao tunaongea kwa sasa ni ya the next financial year. So kwa sasa kuna ile kitu inaitwa projection. Washa project kwamba pesa ambayo tutakuwa tunakusanya next financial year ordinary revenue
itakuwa kima
itakuwa 2.84 trillion. I'm telling you we are using figures ya 2020-2021 which was 1.5 trillion. Yeah. So nilikuwa nimeangalia hiyo 405 billion yenye wanatupea ama wanapea counties.
Yes.
It does not even get to 15% of 2.84 trillion. It is around 14 point something percent.
14.
Yeah.
Haiko mbali.
Lakini sheria inasema kwamba it should be 15%.
Yeah. Should. Asubuhi tulikuwa tunazungumza neno should.
Yeah, actually it shall. That's the word that is required, that it shall be. But now because they are using that one, now wakicalculate na 1.5 trillion, the percentage ni 25.79. Yani wanatuambia according to the figures that we are using, the budget that we are using, the one that has been audited and approved ya 2020-2021, pesa ambayo mtapata according to ordinary revenue ya hiyo mwaka ni 25.79%. So nilikuwa nimetumia hata hiyo 25.79%, nikaangalia how does this relate with the current figure. So if we went that route,
okay,
counties wangepata 620.7 billion.
If
tungetumia
hiyo ya 2021.
Yes, hii ya 2025-2026 hiyo projection yao ya 2.84 tukiitumia tungepata around 600 billion. Yeah, lakini unaona the reason why I'm mentioning this ni kwamba people should be aware ya kwamba to an extent counties zinafinyiliwa. It is like the national government is living with the figures of next financial year, but counties have to live with figures for 2020, which is a huge delay. And it is not a delay, si ati delay kwamba control of budget hajafanya kazi yake. It is a tactical delay by National Assembly to refuse to approve these other documents so that counties get lesser share.
So when now before uendelee kueleza ikifika sehemu kama hiyo nao, kwa sababu bunge la Senate ndilo ambalo kwamba linasimamia masuala mengi ya county.
Yes, interest the county.
Na kwa muda mrefu Senate na National Assembly wamekuwa wakivutana, hususan ikija kwenye ugavi wa rasilimali za county. So ikifika hapa ni kitu gani ambacho kwamba kinafaa kufanywa, because 405 na 6
it's a big
margin
difference.
Kubwa, it's 200 and something,
over 200 billion.
Unaelewa? So shida itatatuliwa vipi? Because gatekeeper, as much as Senate watakaa waseme tumependekeza hivi na hivi, gatekeeper bado inabaki ni National Assembly.
So there are a number of ways za wanaweza kutibu now. The first one is political.
Okay.
I may not really like Raila Odinga fully, but I like the conversation he has begun about give counties money. Wacha kubeba pesa ya barabara ambayo inafaa iende Mombasa, ubaki nao Nairobi, or give them through the members of parliament. It's a way of reducing the amount of money that counties need to have.
Okay.
And so that political voice is very important. And I like that he has even said that he would want that in the next elections a conversation be laid on where does the interest of your member of parliament lie, so that if you have members of parliament who do not see the essence of devolution, then they should be voted out. So that then you have people who appreciate what the Constitution said. The Constitution said that resources must be divided equally and equitably. If you look at the way the national government uses some of these resources, for instance, market building is a role of the county. Some of these roads that they do are roads that should, this is Akura na Kera, they should go to counties.
Yes.
But the national government has retained them for political voice. Wewe unaongea pande gani? Nitakupea barabara. No, that should not be the way we do our politics. Our politics should be that, say, the counties like Kilifi, I think Kilifi, Kwale,
yes,
there are counties that have been mentioned that they were marginalized for a very long time. And so the resource that should go to those counties should be in a realization that even though the governor may be offward politically, but development for people is maintained on the basis of how they have been left behind.
Okay.
So that is
point one.
A topic that is relates to this. There is a sum of money which is should be 0.5% inaitwa equalization fund.
Yes.
So equalization fund is a fund that specifically does some of these roles, and in that financial year they have also said it will be around 7 billion that will go to several areas. Now equalization fund sorts out roads, sorts out water, sorts out electricity, and there's another function.
The equalization fund bado iko national government.
Yes, sasa.
So water bado iko devolved.
According to unaona hii bill, wanasema kwamba wakitengeneza hiyo bill lazima watengeneze memorandum explaining what are these things that the national government treasury has considered ndio watupee pesa kidogo ama mingi. So wanasema kwamba equalization fund yote itatoka from the national government kitty. But the roles have mentioned, I left out health. There are 4. Health, water, roads, and electricity.
Yes.
Apart from electricity, these 3 are county roles. So katiba inawaambia ikiwa ni maneno iko Kilifi.
Yes.
Tuseme Kilifi has had problems of water. Give them conditional grants. So there is an equalization fund, weka hiyo 7.5 billion hapo, lakini give Kilifi its 1 billion to go and do its water. Now the national government is telling us that according to this bill, that equalization fund will be operated from the national basket.
National government.
So you see that those are some of the areas where wanafinya county nazo.
Na hata asubuhi ya leo tayari tumezungumza kuhusiana na swala la maji hapa. Bomba la ni Mzizima spring ile limepasuka. Kaunti nyingi za pwani zitaathirika kwa sababu ya hilo bomba la miaka hiyo ya ukoloni halijawahi kutengenezwa na kuna equalization fund.
They still have not looked at the latest infrastructure.
Yes.
Ya kuboresha hiyo maneno ya maji.
So ulikuwa umesema point 1 ni political.
Yes, I said the political wing.
Point 2 now.
People who think together, who think alike, can put their minds together and then move a political voice that then would fast track some of these processes.
Yes.
But I also think the constitution should be amended to now put that this the audited funds cannot go longer than 2 years.
2 years.
So that then you have for instance saizi tuko 2024-2025.
Yes.
So the 2024 kama iwezekani hii mwaka basi ya last year
2023
basi 23-2024.
Okay.
It should not go 4 years back. Yeah. It's like you're staying 4 years away.
So
yes, I think that will be able to sort out part of that problem.
Okay.
But number 3 is the other one that we were discussing the other day. I think counties should also do much better with on-source revenue.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a proper on-source revenue, that is one of the things that the counties can use to beef up the gaps that are there.
Okay.
Yeah. But going back to the political question, in real sense, this constitution has never been implemented by a president who believed in it, apart from Kibaki. Uhuru had he was either this side or the other side. If you were here when people were campaigning about the constitution, and I think he bent towards this constitution towards the last minute, because then he also wanted to be the president and he wanted to align with what Kibaki stood for. And Ruto opposed it. He stood the other side and said, you see katiba yetu. Yes, so people that were so much in Kanu then have had an opportunity to be the first president with this constitution, and that is part of why there is a struggle.
So do you believe kwamba wale watu ambao kwamba walisukuma tuwe na hii katiba ambayo kwamba tuko nayo sasa ndio ambao wangekuwa engine bora ya kusukuma kutekelezwa kwa mambo mengi
by far, because wow, they have a legacy to keep. They say we pushed this constitution, this is what we believed in, so it is even easier for me and you to put shame on his head and say, look bwana, you told us this constitution was the best, you are the person implementing it, now what mess are you putting us in if you are not implementing it? So those people and a number of people, there are also people who are emerging. Yeah, I can say confidently somebody like Sifuna has been really speaking towards this constitution. The people like Onyonka, there have been positive voices. I think in Kangata,
yes,
you've also
Irungu
seen
Kangata.
Irungu Kangata, what they do with the constitution. I am a little bit disturbed that people like Kingi are now in proper positions
to
and yes, and they have not done enough. For me, I think they have not done enough.
Okay.
Wacha nikuregesha nyuma kidogo kwa hii 0.5 yenye inakuja 7 billion.
Equalization fund.
Bado still ni ile ya 2020
Yes.
ama ni projection bado ya hii 2.8 trillion?
Wanatumia ile approved, audited and approved. Ile ya 2020-2021.
So hakutakuwa na gap hapo ambayo itakuwa imebakia, because hiyo mwaka tulikuwa tunaongelea 1.5, sahi the projection is 2.85. Hii 1.3 billion trillion ambayo iko pale sasa itakuwa ina
what happens, that money goes to national government. So the thing is, from 2017
Yes.
to date, national government has been getting their amount has been increasing percentage wise. Wao wanapata mingi shinda, and then there are also introduced new levies. One of them is the housing levy.
Okay.
And SHA and health.
Okay.
So those are new taxes regimes, and if you look at who holds the role for housing, it should be counties, but that money goes directly to national government entirely.
How county?
County is, according to the constitution,
Yes.
counties is the level of institution that should be building houses, that should be looking at regularization of houses. And so if you want to build houses in Mombasa, for instance, I will give you an open example. You would see we had a number of municipal houses. One of them was Paxton,
Yes.
Nyerere, Changamwe,
Likoni.
Hadija, there's Likoni.
Yeah.
That is a responsibility that was entirely given to county, and
Local government
from
then.
the local council it came to counties. Yeah.
Yes.
But then the national government said, look, in his manifesto, the current president, managed to convince people that let us get this fund, let's get to build some houses, and when we build these houses, people will get jobs. It's not a bad idea, but the money should be provided to counties. Even if you create a fund at national level, then those are some of the funds that should be giving counties this grant, so that the counties do their job. National government has a lot of work to do. Can I surprise you that even this equalization fund, there's no law. Yeah, the National Assembly is yet, we are still talking about some bills, and it should have been on from the point the Constitution put it in place, there should have been a specific proper law that then talks about that wholesomely. So the national government and national government institutions have a lot of responsibility that they need to look at, that then they should not be coming to capture county roles. So that's what I was telling you in the question, is that by design, national government is getting more money. Again, if you look at it on the flip side, you find that a lot of roles, some of those roles, like last year they gave this role of libraries, they gave it to counties. Yeah, we are still talking about, we spoke about market, we talk about we're still talking about completely devolving health, completely devolving housing. There are a lot of some other duties. By the way, there is an institution called the Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
Yeah.
And it is the one that is supposed to have spoken about or gave light about the duties that should be done by the counties. And they looked at that and put the maths together. And they should have, the national government should adjust the current allocated figure to 272 billion. If they give all the responsibilities that should go to counties,
Yes.
if they now give them all of them, then 272 billion should come with those duties, because you hold a duty, you hold the money for it.
Okay.
So national government, since this constitution came, they have never given all the duties to counties. So that is what the president, I think, in August last year, when there was the devolution conference, he said in 60 days all those duties will go to county. Then I think in December he reviewed it. He said there were some challenges, and I think it's part of this conversation about the roads that is going on. So he said, list them, give me the amount, calculate that money by June this year, 2025. Let all those responsibilities go to counties. But looking at the law that we have been given by the Senate to look at the division of revenue bill, there is no consideration that 272 billion and the jobs that the president promised will all come to counties.
Okay, now Adika, ulipoanza kuzungumza ulitaja kwamba Wakenya walikuwa wanafaa kutoa maoni kuhusiana na huu mswada.
Yes.
The Division of Revenue Bill 2025. Yes. Wakenya wenyewe kwanza wanajua. Na ni nani ambaye kwamba ana jukumu la kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wanajua kwamba hiki kitu kinafanyika ili wao waweze kutoa maoni yao na yaweze kuangaziwa. Na ikiwa Wakenya wanatoa maoni, going by the history ya vitu vinavyofanyika kwa hii nchi, mostly maoni ya Mkenya hayazingatiwi. So if that happens, what should happen?
I think it's one question it's many questions in one statement. The truth is watu wengi hawajui nini inaendelea kwa sasa. I have had to have a conversation with you people so that I just come and share this at the radio. But I think senators have a bigger role. Members of county assembly, I don't know which one have an idea about what is going on. They have a bigger role, and even the office of the governor, they should be sharing this information. But as we speak now, the person who has the pass and the bill in its hand now is the Senate. They should have done public awareness about what this bill entails, what it means, and all these figures that we are talking about. Unfortunately, this debate has been left to people in Nairobi and Nairobi alone, and the elites. Yeah, the people who know that there is this bill and this conversation. We've never had real conversation with the people on the ground. These are some, but you see, it starts like this. A conversation begins like this. I remember the finance bill for 2024. It is the media houses that were calling these people and asking very pertinent questions. And every time we asked them questions, they looked lost. They in their own documents, they didn't really have a proper background about what these taxes that you are levying on us. Can you explain this? Can you look at it with the other tax? Yeah. So that is a conversation that we need to have. It is not just a conversation between the two systems of government, because counties have been accused very recently that they are using a lot of money for current expenditure. But truth be told, if you are given money that was collected in 2020 and this is 2025, you are most likely going to just eat, pay yourself salary, and there will be no project. But if we had this 1.3 trillion that you are talking about, then they are most likely the projects that we are doing would increase. We had a conversation about this stadium.
Municipal.
Yes. Part of the explanation that they are giving, it could be an excuse, but part of the explanation they are giving is that at the point when they did the contract, the figure that was being given to Mombasa County reduced by $1 billion. And so they had to find a way to float. Yeah. So these are some of the reasons why that floating happens. If politicians at national, and the problem, by the way, if you look at it objectively, this problem is with largely National Assembly. They when they put their head on something, you see the way they put their head on the finance bill. They
Yes.
even passed it, and people are dying outside the
Yes.
we go with it. Yet watu wanakufa kwa mlango, watu wanapigwa bunduki kwa mlango, watu they are almost being killed. By the way, there was a possibility that all members of National Assembly would have been killed that day if they never had that tunnel
ya
to go to the other end.
Kwenda kwa
But
ile
they are still passing it.
bunge tower.
Yeah, and this thing is on TVs, and all their TVs are working. so I think that political debate, if we are going to have a sane political discussion, that we don't look at Adika as a lawyer or as a Giriama,
Yeah.
is Adika speaking the things that are in the constitution. So a member of National Assembly should answer to these questions, that what is going to be your position with regards to the questions on devolution. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to push so that all the accounts that have been audited are approved by National Assembly? Yeah. You can't be loading more work to you. Like now they want a lot of jobs around NGCDF. Yeah, a lot of work is put on their head as members of National Assembly, and you can see the drama they cause if that money delays. But approving an audited document that has been sent to you takes you 3 years. Yeah, a lot of legislation, public participation legislation, that we may and you and the common man want to know what is its fate, does not come to fruition because we just want to delay this. Yeah, it is something that may work against us.
Kuna swali hapo linakuja because umezungumza hapo nyuma tubadilishe katiba. Kuna kipengele umekizungumza. Now kama shida ni bunge la kitaifa, I know wao ndio wana nguvu, but wote ni wabunge. Hata maseneta ni wabunge. Na bunge la Senate ile ambalo kwamba linashughulika sana na masuala ya county. Kwa nini kila kitu kikifanywa na bunge la Senate lazima kifike kwenye bunge la kitaifa, na wao ndio rubber stamping, na wao ndio watakachosema, even pia executive ndio inapea masikio, ama katiba inasema hivyo? Kwa sababu wewe ni mwanasheria, kuna uwezekano wa kuweza kubadilisha hiyo sheria hapo, iwe kwamba bunge la Senate likizungumza kuhusiana na masuala ya county, iwe ni kura ya moja kwa moja inapita na ifanywe kazi? Is there a way in?
To be specific on this matter,
Yes.
you see, there's a budget for Kenya.
Yeah.
And that budget must speak to all
Kenyans,
all sectors of the nation.
Yes.
So devolution is a sector. So if we leave this to Senate, they may say give counties 700 billion na wakanyagie hapo alafu pesa ikue haiko. That is why it is required that once the Senate says their figure, then the National Assembly says their figure, then they need to engage. But the two of them, most of the time, they also ignore expert advice.
Okay.
The expert advice here should be coming from the Commission on Revenue Allocation.
Yes.
And given the circumstances, actually the Commission on Revenue Allocation, they are supposed to give their figure on this matter by December last year. So they gave, depending on those factors, one of those factors is that we are still using the budget for 2020-2021.
Yes.
They gave 417 billion to counties. That was their recommendation. But when they were called to give their views Juzi for our National Assembly, they also raised the same issues that I'm raising. They said, why don't you approve this budget so that we use the latest figures? Yeah. Why are you sleeping on this? They also said, because one of the explanations the National Assembly and Treasury has given is that there are some things called national interest. But they said, don't misconstrue national interest. A national interest may be an issue in Mombasa that affects the issues around devolution. For instance, ni jana majuzi there was some war in where
Jana, Narok.
Not just Narok. There's a place where Nani went, Murkomen. There's a question of bandit somewhere. Penye walikuwa na IG.
Yeah.
That's a national interest issue, but it is within a certain county. Yeah. So they are saying, don't take money and give to yourself as national government and say that is national interest. That money, if this national interest is in a place, an example is there is this border counties with Uganda, and a lot of the time Busia has always been affected by Ebola.
Yes, true.
When it is affected by Ebola is a health issue, and people will be going to the lowest of hospitals within Busia County. How that's a national
interest
and a question of national concern, and how then do you support that county to make sure that there are some resources there? They have also raised this question that we are talking about equalization fund, and they are saying give money to counties. Yeah, so those are the issues that we have with the matter that relates to this bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe to ask now that we have this division of revenue bill 2025 mesema na leo ndio mesema inafaa kuwa mwisho.
Yeah.
So nyinyi sasa kama CSOs proposals zenu zimekuwa gani na mmezipitisha ama imekuwa vipi? Because it is expected that at least the Senate wapate feedback from the people. So as CSOs, maybe your proposals zimekuwa gani?
Okay, I will say two things. One, we need to engage senators this week, next week on this matter. I know once these proposals go back to them, they are going to consider them. So this conversation is a conversation that should proceed for the next 1-2 weeks. So people still have an opportunity to speak to their senators where they are and tell them that this is how we feel. A direct example is Makadara here. Makadara Hospital has an emergency almost every day. Yeah. And part of the problem in Makadara is proper resources. It is not properly fully resourced to cater for the numbers of people that get services there. And so there's this money that we are levying in our salaries for health insurance and health cover. I think Makadara Hospital is one of the places that we have recommended that they need to give some support. We also have proposed that looked at objectively the roles that the national government and the president stated that should come in June. Let those roles be devolved. Tukue tu na shida nao, lakini wacha zikuje. Na zikuje na pesa zao. Zikikuja na 200 billion more, then counties will have a lot of resources that should be put in place to support devolution. The other question that we have said is Senate should institute legal mechanism to ensure that all devolved functions are fully costed and transferred to county government. That's what I'm saying. Then the Senate should also put in place effective mechanisms to compel the National Treasury to ensure that equitable share of the government stipulated by the provision are transferred to the county strictly in line with the provision of Section 17(6) of the Public Finance Management Act. Unaona, kwa Public Finance Management Act inatakikana kwamba pesa ziende county every month. Yeah. Every day it will not take a week before you hear governor say, pesa haijakuja. As we speak now, they got some money mid-April.
Yeah.
And that money is for February. So hawajapata March
na
April.
Na April.
Yeah? Mwanzo pesa wanapata ni ya 2020. Kuja pia imekuwa ni issue. So that is another thing that the Senate and the Senate needs to really resolve. Haitakuwa kwamba counties are completely disadvantaged and then you will be calling for accountability from them. You're asking this governor kwa nini haujabuild hii, lakini pesa hawajapata. Yeah? That is not to excuse governors so that they start stealing. The little money that they get, we should also see kwamba nini imefanya. Equity of the question about equalization fund is another one that we are recommending that the counties should get a proper and timely provision of that money. Unaona hiyo equalization fund, it's a fund imewekwa kando na hiyo 7.5 billion should go there. Now you will find that in the current financial year there's around 2 billion that was supposed to go, did not go. So national government apart from kuretain pesa yetu ya county bado ina retain hiyo pesa ya equalization fund. This money for equalization fund is provided for only 20 years. Because we are saying from the point when the constitution passed and when the county started operating, which is 2013,
yes,
by 2033 at least these other counties should have come up and gotten to the level of others. Tell me if it will happen if you still retain this money.
It will not.
Kama bado unawapea pesa 2020. Yeah? So of course it has been said that the National Assembly can pass a law to recommend elongation of that time. Lakini until when do we want to live with some of our counties lower in education, lower in provision of water, electricity haifiki kila mtu, health, watu wanakufa, the rate of deaths in those places because of health facilities and medicine is low. Until when do we want to live like that? We should live at a level that we get the best of health, and that's what Article 43 says. We get the best of education everywhere. We get the best of water. People can drink water. Not that we have the entire sea here in Mombasa and we don't have drinking water. So those are things that we have asked the Senate to find a way to deal with.
Okay, because time nayo inakwenda kwa kasi. Umetaja hapo Commission of Revenue Allocation.
Yes.
Na ukathubutu pia kusema kwamba wao waliangalia wakapata ni 417. But kwa bill ni 405.1. Wao wametoa kwamba counties according to hiyo yenye mmepeana nyinyi wanafaa tumependekeza at least 417.
Yeah.
But kwa bill ni 405.1. Hii 12
national government inaitaka nataka kuiramba watairamba. So that is the one part of the biggest problem. You see, me and you may come here to talk.
Yes.
But we may not have the same expertise to milk a cow like the guy who herds the cows. Yeah. So we need to give that person, tukifika mahali ya kumilkio cow, tumpatie huyo jamaa opportunity atueleze, and we should go with this recommendation. But every time a constitutional commission that was set up to do a specific duty does it, politicians come and say, yes, you've done it, lakini wacha tubadilishe hivi na vile. No, that is not the reason why. First, is not the reason why those commissions were set up. Because if you knew you would do your way, why do we waste money in having that commission? So we just disband it. So that then the Treasury and National Assembly continues to do that work. But because we have that commission, let that commission do its work. So that is what sisi kama civil society and I think Kenyans need to speak together and push so that you have a country where the rule of law is respected.
Okay.
Kuna hicho kipengele tu ya haraka, ile kipengele yenye umesema by June rais alikuwa amesema majukumu yote yale yanafaa kwa county yawe pale. Lakini sasa pia umesema katika hii division of revenue bill ni kama haiko captured.
Yes.
But pia umepiana kwamba in the next maybe 1 week or 2 weeks bado kuna hizo engagement na huenda kukawa na marekebisho.
Yes.
Suppose hayatakuwa, kitu gani chenye kinafaa kufanyika?
I think wasipofanya hii story ya kupeana kazi za county, seriously people need to go to court, so that then court gives a final determination on this matter, and that final determination may be a directive to the person who is giving the money to provide that money to counties, because it has been how many years since
13.
this constitution?
2010. So is in 2010 to
15 years.
Yeah.
Something that
Almost
they should have
15.
done. By the way, unajua kulikuwa na ile, unaona huyu Nyachai mwenye anataka kwa IBC chair.
Yes.
He was chairing a commission for constitutional implementation.
Yes.
He chaired it, and that constitution, that commission, time yake ilifaa iishe 2015. Na iliisha. In fact wali extend kidogo, lakini waka later they were disbanded. They were ensuring that all these things that the constitution said should have been in place were in place. Sasa this one for devolving all functions have gone over 10 years since the lapse of that commission in itself. And so it is important that people use both political voice. If Kenyans can speak with one voice in support of the counties, in support of devolution, then all the roles that should go to devolved government needs to go. National government will still have a lot of money. Recently they made a lot of money with national carrier KQ. They made 5 billion. So if they can make the parastatals work to make like KPA makes profit, KA makes profit,
Yes.
they will still have money. Let the money that should go to counties go to counties.
Period. Haina story nyingi. Tumekuwa tukizungumza naye Zedekiah Adika hapo, wakili ambaye pia ni mwenyekiti wa mashirika ya kijamii ya Coast Civil Society Network for Human Rights hapa Pwani, ambaye tumezungumza kwa mapana sana kuhusiana na ugavi wa rasilimali baina ya serikali kuu na wanawe 47. Tunazungumzia county 47 hapa nchini. Wakati mwingine tukipata na hayo majuma mawili ambapo kwamba wanakwenda kuzungumza kutafuta huu mchakato utakuwa namna gani ili county ziwe salama kihela kwa minajili ya maendeleo mashinani, tutatafutana tena tuweze kuja kuzungumza mengi tu ambayo yatatoa mwangaza kwa minajili ya serikali za county kufanya kazi na kuwa na usawa miongoni mwa county zote. Bye kwa sasa, tukirudi ni saa ya mwisho.